Hello there, welcome back to the channel. It's Richie here from Dowie After Dark. I hope you're all having an amazing day. In this video today, we will be starting our Road to Worlds. For those of you who don't know, I have had the honour to be voted in to be team captain for Team England, playing over in Germany and also in Italy at the WTC events. This is an absolutely massive honour, and we've been doing lots of work behind the scenes, not to just get the best team, but the best team of the best people. Now, what I mean by that is I don't want us to go to the event and try to win with absolute jank. I want us to go and people enjoy playing against us at the same time. Because for me, a good game is a clean game, but also one that's fun for both people. And personally, I think that we've managed to do this. This weekend was the first training day for Team England. Unfortunately, one of the members couldn't make it, but the rest of us managed to go. Now, this was held up in Newcastle, so it was a little bit of a drive. So I managed to drag up Matt, who is the vice chair. So we drove up together for the 6 hours to go up there and play against Pash's team. Pash, for those of you who don't know him, he has a YouTube channel called Warhammer, is a very skilled and very experienced player. Now, he is part of Team Scotland, and he brought down a team to come and destroy Team England. And as a team, we are really grateful to Pash for coming down and throwing some guys against us. We really appreciate it, and it was just a really nice training day for all of us. But the main point of this weekend was almost like a team building experience where we could all meet each other and basically work out everybody's roles in the team. For those of you who don't know how team tournaments work, so in the WTC event in Melle in Germany, there is going to be 28 or 29 teams depending on who's coming, and it's going to be 8-man teams. So there's going to be 4 defenders, 4 attackers, and then we're going to have to do pairings to try and get favourable outcomes. The way that this works is you do matrices beforehand and you work out what every army is good into and what they're bad into, going from a red matchup, which means a bad matchup, then going all the way up to green, which means you're expected to 20-0 them. Although I feel that the people who've put greens are probably overestimating what they're going to do. Now, this was this has been really fun to work on over the last couple of weeks, working out everyone's matrices into different armies. Obviously, once we get the exact army lists for Germany, then we're going to have to redo the matrices for all of those armies, so the fun starts again. So at the beginning of this gargantuan trip up to Newcastle, we decided we were going to stop off at Warhammer Worlds, just to kind of break it up a little bit, because it's 3 hours up from us, so we had a little mooch around there, because who doesn't want to go into the holy land of Warhammer World? Now, unfortunately, after leaving Warhammer World, I did find out that I wasn't actually allowed to film inside, so I just briefly got told off and turned my camera off. But I did manage to get some stuff, so I was quite happy about that, including this nice new goblet for drinking when I am filming. After we left Warhammer World, we got up to Nottingham a few hours later. It was relatively quite late then, so we just decided to go get some food, go out for a couple of beers, and sample the nightlife up in Newcastle. I was quite pleasantly shocked, as I've never been there sober before, so it was quite a nice night actually. £2 pints of beer made me pretty happy. But then I woke up the next morning to this message from Pash, who had done a parody of my recent short.
The road to Worlds ends today. I am over for a practice day with the rest of Team England to lose against Pash's team. The road to Worlds and Mel, blah, 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 rocks, blah, blah.
So following seeing this, I knew that we were going to have to try and smash Pash, because in his head, he thought he was going to absolutely wreck us. So we arrived at the venue to put some faces to names, and here is Team England. We have Ed, Tom, Scott, myself, Mop, Charlie, Steve and Dave. We also have Matt in there, who is the vice. Mop is also one of our substitute players, unfortunately because James Ramsey couldn't come. So hopefully the next picture will be the entire team, and also if we can get Andy and Alex and Sam in as well, then that's the entire team. But this was the team that we got so far. So going into this, we'd already done our matrices. We knew what our armies wanted to play into. So now it was time to work out whether the matrices were right or were they wrong. And also, if the other team was scared to play into us, and also if we could force matchups. So we have just finished the pairings in this practice game, well, in this practice day of Team England versus Team Pash. How do you think the pairings went?
Yeah, they're looking good. If the predictions are good, we're going to smash it.
I mean, it's funny though, because that's exactly the same for our side. So one of the matrices...
Somebody's wrong.
Yeah, one of them's lying. Right, so let's have a look at the games.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. I think everybody will be... shall we go through the pairings?
Yeah, we can go through, yeah.
All right, so we've got on the first table, we have Team Slags, Wood Elves versus your Orcs and Goblins. That's Brutus, isn't it?
Yeah, it
With
is,
his
yeah.
nasty goblin...
Yeah, so that is a massive Gobbo Death Star, so that's going to be an interesting game.
They're playing open battle. Table 2, we have our VC versus your Warriors with Jack's double sorcerer list. So that they're playing flank.
Which is going to be an interesting game, actually, I think.
Yeah, I think both of them are feeling confident. So somebody's wrong there. Right, let's see how we go on. So game 3, we have our Warriors, Ross with his Chaos Dragon, and he's playing against your Warriors with your Chaos Dragon. So it's Chaos Dragon off. We'll see
so
how
that's
that
just going to be dice and superior tactics are going to rule that one.
Somebody's going to roll well in the gaze of the gods, and somebody is not.
Yeah, for sure.
So we'll see how that goes. Whose luck prevails. They're playing open battle. Table 4, we have our Dark Elves versus your Tomb Kings, Scott. It's big monster mash Tomb Kings.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting if the Dark Elves can deal with it, or if they can't. We'll have to see. I mean, if Kane's on the side of the Dark Elves, he could come out.
That's it.
I feel that that's probably a strong matchup for us.
Yeah, that's exactly what our guy thinks too. So they're playing Breakpoint. Table 5, we have our Bretonian Exiles, Young Jack, versus your Dwarves, which is yourself.
Yeah.
He says he's going to 20-0 you, so we'll see.
That's fine. I'm quite excited for this. This is probably my best matchup out of any of the games. So
that's exactly what he said too. So a lot of contradicting opinion here. So that's Breakpoint as well. The next table, we have our Dwarves against your Beastmen, the little nippy, zippy.
It should be interesting. So this is a quad Viletide list. Yeah. So it'll be interesting. If he can get all those Viletides and all of those spells off, then it's going to do damage. If not, then he'll get tabled. It's a very swingy list. Yeah. So that'll be quite interesting.
That's going to be quite interesting to see. They are playing Meeting Engagement. On the next table, we have our High Elves, which is myself, playing against Charlie and his vampires. Charlie and I have played before, so this is a bit of a grudge match.
Yeah. And
I'm not saying I swung the match up for this, but there is some scores to settle.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've thrown Charlie under the bus because this is his only one where he thought he'd table everyone else. But as defenders, it's got to happen, unfortunately, so someone's got to take it under the bus.
We'll see how it goes. That is Meeting Engagement. Next list, we have our Ogres versus Ed's High Elves.
It's going to be an interesting game.
Flank attack. We'll see how they get on. Yeah, it should be lots and lots of fun, I think, to be honest. And the last table, we have our 9th players, the little dark horse. So we have Andy with his Warriors versus your second High Elf list as well. So that's going to be quite interesting. We'll see how it goes.
It's going to be good. We will show you some of the games as they go on and let you know how it goes.
Go team.
The way the pairings works is we both put down one defender each. We flip that over so we can see what each other's put down. So that's probably going to be our hardest army to go into. I put down Dave Brewis for the first battle because he's got his Goblin Star, and then we look at what the opponent does and we put down 2 attackers. So once you flip those attackers, you can pick one of those that you want your defender to go into. We picked going into Wood Elves because we thought that would be quite a good matchup, and it also keeps Wood Elves out of the armies that can do really, really well into it. Pash had put down Vampire Counts, which is also a really good defender. For that, we put into the Warriors of Chaos with Jack with loads of magic spells. Now, we thought that would be quite a good matchup as he had put a green going into that. So we were quite happy on both of them. We feel that we did quite well. And we rejected the Ogres. So the first 2 games were the Wood Elves versus Dave with his Orcs and Goblins, and the Vampire Counts versus Jack's Warriors of Chaos. We were happy about both of them, so we were going into the next pairing. As those players went off to go play in their game upstairs, we started working out which defender we wanted to put down next. Now for me, I had to put down the Tomb Kings. So Scott was going to be one of our defenders, and it's not a favourable matchup for that many people. Pash put down Warriors of Chaos, and then we paired that into Steve's Warriors of Chaos, so there was a mirror match. We then picked the Dark Elves to go into the Tomb Kings because we thought that was probably the most favourable matchup for our team. The Dark Elf player did seem to think so as well. So this so far seemed like it was going quite well for Team England. And we think that we've got some really nice favourable matchups, as we believe that Steve could win in the mirror match and the Tomb Kings could absolutely smash out the Dark Elves. Unfortunately, we were wrong about Steve, but that's absolutely fine. So going down into the next pairing, I put down Dwarves, and so does Pash. So this is going to be a Dwarf Defender. We picked Tom's Beastmen. Now this was a really interesting pick because I know that they can beat them. It's into me Bretonnian Exiles. I thought that was a really good pick because it's stopping those Bretonnians getting into our monsters, and I can grind out a draw.
I understood what was happening, but I also had a minor heart in mouth.
No, I took one for the team for you, mate. There you go.
Are you pretty happy about that anyway?
Yeah.
Like, took one for the team. Fuck off.
It's my best matchup.
Took one for the team. Of course, I am the team.
As we go into the final force pairings, the vampire counts go down, the ogre kingdoms come down, and what that means is that the high elves that Pash is running go into the vampire counts, Ed's high elves go into the ogre kingdoms, and then the final 9th game, which we basically didn't do the pool for, was Andy's Wok versus Matt's high elves. So that was the first round pairings. We were quite favourable about this, as we feel that we potentially got all green matchups apart from Charlie's game, where he put down a 1 going into the high elves, but unfortunately there is always going to be somebody thrown under the bus. So at the beginning of the first game, I am playing into Jack Toll's Exiles list. So, perfect, mate. So he is got a massive unit of Pegasus up here. We're only 18 inches apart, so he can fly over and attack me straight away. So I have all of my dwarves over here, and I am lined up. He's not going to be able to hit me with any of the cannons, so this is going to be very interesting. So at the end of turn 1, he has pushed up the Bretonnians to this side of the hill so I can't charge him, and he's also managed to kill an entire unit of Iron Drakes. I have pushed up the Dwarves forwards, the Anvil is behind here zapping spells. I managed to kill a couple of the Peg Knights, and he is coming up here to try and make my life difficult. Can he get in and force the breakpoint? To be able to get breakpoint, he's going to have to deal with the block. Can he win this mission? Or other very cagey, brutal game. I am going to go try and claim some points up this end of the board. He is killing Iron Drakes. He's just took out the cart. So he does currently have 165 points. So can I try and claim some? He's moved up to the middle here, so I can't shoot him. But these Iron Drakes are potentially going to try and cause a trap for him in a minute. So let's see if he can fall for it. And then I've got the Longbeards up here. They're going to try and claim me some points right now. See if they can fan out and take out the... So it has been an absolutely brutal game so far. The Knights have just been killed over in this corner by the Longbeards. Are they going to come in and try and trap some points? At the moment, we're both kind of playing denial from each other because we're playing breakpoint, so we need to try and smash each other. But we also don't want to win too big or lose too big. We're trying to get a draw because we've both been thrown under the bus a little bit. So I've got my Doomseeker here, which is going to try and pin in the units on this side. Can we see if they can do it? The Exiles are on full. The first game of the practice scrim, basically I played into the Exiles. We both probably got exactly what we wanted out of that game. We both played really cagey, basically ran away from each other, and we scored a 10-10, which for me into a red matchup is probably what I'm after, really, to stop the other boys from getting absolutely dicked by your Baron. How did it go?
I just ran away, cast magic missiles, got points where I can, try to go for the 10-10, got it in the end.
Yeah, exactly. It's really what we both wanted, so it's a win-win overall, really.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
So we did pairings for the second lot of games, but because we had to do slight constraints on who we paired into who, because we were playing against the same team, I didn't put up a video of this because we didn't put up the exact choices that we want to put. We kind of put ones that we had to, so we kind of had to take stock of what we'd done before, so it wasn't a true pairing. Either way, we went into these games, but this one, Tom Carley had a go, as he is my vice captain, and we got slightly beaten in the pairings, unfortunately. It didn't go as well, but that was mainly due to the fact that we had picked all of our favourable pairings on the first round. But interestingly enough, we actually managed to win that round even better, which was pretty crazy. So basically, we'd either got the Matrix completely wrong, or people had just woken up after the first game and decided to bring the pain to Pash's team.
So at the end of the first round, we won 117 to 63, smashing Pash's team. But we are going to be doing the pairings for round 2 now, which is going to be a little bit difficult in this kind of scrim because we're going to have to basically make sure that people don't play the people they played last turn, but it should be a really fun one. So hopefully we can win this round as well. It's a really good practice day so far. Pash's team are definitely bringing the pain, but we have managed to beat them so far. So can we do it again? How's it going, Ed?
It's going pretty good. We've got a nice little grudge match here, me against Ian. Not the armies, just he's left me nice comments on my channel, so I've got to
Smash him ruthlessly.
break his legs. Yeah,
Every list I submit to him, he just says it's shit.
that's not true. Just the last one. Just this one.
Love it, boys.
Specifically, yeah.
Over here we've got Beastmen going into the Warriors of Chaos with the Double Dragon. Should be an interesting matchup. He's going to be able to stop all of the spells, so it's going to be a difficult one for the Beastmen, I think. Yeah. So over here we have got the Exiles going into Steve. So this is father against son.
Hello.
Who's going to win? We'll have to see. Can Steve get pegged?
Hopefully tonight.
Yay! Over here we've got Scott's TK going into the Ogres, into the big gut bus over on this side.
It is a spicy looking unit, isn't it?
It is definitely a spicy looking unit. How do you feel getting into this, mate?
Interesting to see some of the characters have got some quite mean looking magic items. So interesting. First time playing Ogres though in the old world, so that should be good. Nice learning curve.
I think they're really good, personally.
I think they've got legs. I do.
Yeah. And then I am playing into Dwarves, so we have got almost a mirror match. So this should be quite an interesting game. We're both probably not playing for a massive win, but we might as well try and push, right? Nice. Looking forward to it, mate. So at the end of that turn, I have pushed up with the Iron Drakes a little bit to try and get some shots. This one's in Marching Golem to just shoot with the Troll Hammer. I have also yeeted up into his lines to try and ask him a question and see if he can answer it. I did have the Rune of Open Seal off and he didn't manage to do anything in the next round, and I managed to stop 2 of his spells, but I can only stop 1 more. So it's going to be interesting to see what you can do going into the next turn. So the tale of the Dwarf off has begun. We are in a mass combat over here. I did end up losing the first round by 1 point because I was engaged in the anvil. I couldn't touch it, unfortunately. I just couldn't do any wounds, couldn't roll any 6s, but he has followed up straight into me. We've both expanded, so can we kill each other? On here, so the rest of the battlefield, I do have the advantage, but in that combat, I feel that he has the advantage going forward. So at the end of that turn, the Dwarf Conga line of death is continuing. We are both expanding out. He's beaten me for 3 turns in a row. That anvil in combat, I just can't kill it. It's a really high toughness, so I can't do the wounds. I have won the ranged combat. The Iron Drakes are all dead apart from this one here, but I am going to try and shoot that in a second. The cart is running away over there to try and conserve points. Can I beat these dwarves, or can he push me off the board? So we're going into his final turn 6. I've done my turn 6. We've just been pushing each other backwards and forwards. So this is the last time to roll dice in this game. The dwarves are both in a line. He has an anchor holding this side. I have a flank over here. Can he kill me? Or am I going to kill him? Or is nothing going to happen at all and we're basically just going to hold hands in the middle of the board? The end of that game, we have basically smashed into each other, did as much as we could, and it was a very, very close game. Very cagey. We were just throwing dice the entire game, just slapping backwards and forwards into the big bricks, and I managed to come out on top with an 11-9. How did the game go, mate?
Went very, very well. I think those 2 early whiffs on all of the drakes meant that you had that advantage on the drakes, and then it came to the big dwarf off, and losing 3 turns in a row, I thought I had it, but then obviously you won 3 turns in a row after losing 3 turns in a row, and then
I know, it was so cagey. It was just basically just smashing in. I managed to get the cart into the flank, which kind of tipped it a little bit, like more than I thought it was going to actually, because that anvil was just anchoring that flank. But yeah, no, a really good game, right?
And the kings were determined not to kill each other.
Yeah, 100%. Cheers, bro.
No bother.
was really happy with how the day had gone. It was amazing to be able to put some of the faces to the names of the people that we'd put on the team, and I was really happy with how the team gelled. They are a great bunch of people, and I can't wait to play more and more events with them. I'm super happy with my picks, and I think that this can be a team that we can do quite well in the WTC, but also give everybody really good games, as that's probably one of the more important things to me actually. When you are creating a 8-man team for international play, you want to get your 4 defenders and 4 attackers and try to force the opponents to do unfavourable games, and you get your favourable matchups. Obviously, this kind of little mini game that we did with the cards that you saw earlier can go horribly wrong, but luckily on this practice day, it went quite well. We do have a scrim against Team USA planned soon, and I'll be doing the pairings with Phil very soon. So watch this space, there should be some games going up with that as well. I would just like to take a moment to thank our sponsors for sponsoring the team. We have Warhol. Thank you so much to Hugo for sponsoring us. That's really good, and it's an amazing tool for any of you out there who are playing Old World and want to get some games in online. Go to warhol.eu and you can play online with your friends. The first month is completely free, and you can actually play free after that. It just gets a little bit harder to use. Then we are also sponsored by Element Games. Thank you so much for that sponsorship, as we'll be going up to Element Games and running a tournament to try and fundraise towards all of the flights over to Germany. We'd also like to say a massive thank you to Mini Magtray, who has also sponsored the team, and they make some absolutely amazing movement trays and also drilled movement trays. So please go check them out, where you can just quickly change formations and your models are still magnetized to the bases. Those are absolutely amazing. I use them quite a lot for my dwarves and they work really well. I will be doing a separate video about that at some point, just when I can get round to it. Also to our final sponsor, UK Resin Print. You know this company. If you want to get anything printed, please drop them a message on Etsy, use Dowie After Dark code and you'll get 15% off. He has also sponsored the team, so we are really proud of that one as well. Thank you all so much for watching. This is the start to the Road to Worlds, and I am absolutely thrilled to share that journey with you. There will be a lot more videos coming. I'm going to be doing sit-down interviews with all of Team England, talking about the armies that they're playing and their specialities, what tactics they're thinking about using. Unfortunately, we probably won't be able to talk about lists because we're probably going to want to keep that to ourselves, but everything else, you're going to be able to get the inside scoop with the international players that are going over to Germany. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you on the next one. Rock and stow!